Hello Capsuleer, my name is Gildy and welcome to EVE Online. New Eden is full of mysteries. Mysteries that Capsuleers need to uncover themselves while learning the ropes and figuring out how to survive in the harsh environment of space. This inevitably leads to some myths, legends, and misconceptions arising in regard to how everything around us works. Today, we will take a look at some of the crazy or interesting ideas and figure out if those things are true or not. Today's first idea came to me when talking to a player that has been playing years ago in the wild and unregulated times of EVE. What you could do back then is make bookmarks inside of celestial bodies, which then would be used, thanks to a sneaky mechanic, to launch your ship with enormous speeds, which made for some deep, and I mean very deep, safe spots. Ones that would not be even possible to scan down in most cases. So I went on a little adventure to check out how does that work these days, and what, if anything, can you do. First, I found station right next to my home system, which is orbiting a moon. It's really close, so of course I put my micro warp drive on and burned inside of it. First thing I realized is that object detection is still there. If you get under 2000 meters from a moon, you can no longer cloak. Second thing was that there is nothing inside of it. Moons are a lie. Or seriously, there is no full model and you can fly inside of them, which I am guessing was the way of preventing old bounces. I played around with the idea on how to test this further until I encountered a strange thing. Only thing I can say is that it involved the sun, because I did file a bug report for this and I don't want to give full reproduction steps, but with some creativity and a little bit of elbow grease I managed to do a silly thing. I will let my screen do the talking here. So, as you can see, there may still be a way to cheese game mechanics in a way or two, but I do encourage all of you who find such ways to report them to CCP. Let's make the game into a more even and fair environment rather than have them declare new exploits and punish people. Next on the list is a question from one of the previous videos, posted by Enrique. Does killing a cyno stop its cycle, or can you still jump to it? For those that have never engaged with cynos, or cynosural fields, which is the full name of it, they are what allows certain ships to jump to a ship lighting the cyno, omitting the gate system, for the cost of fuel it takes to light the cyno, jump to it, and the cost of the module on the ship, which you are bound to lose, because when you light a cyno field, you can no longer move your ship for several minutes. Moreover, you can only light cynos in low-sec and null-sec. Thing is, when you light a cyno, it shows up as a separate entity in the system, which is visible on the overview from anywhere in said solar system. So, does blowing up the ship actually destroy the cyno field as well, and is popping the ship a good way of cutting off the other people's ability to call in reinforcements? There's one way to find out. I got myself a Venture, simple industrial cyno lighting ship, which lights up right now, and to test the theory, we will blow it up. We shoot it and the cyno field disappears. This is why, when a cyno ship shows up on grid, everyone wants to destroy it, be it with a lit cyno or not, because you have a chance at cutting off some of the reinforcements jumping through, and it's also why cyno ships can be quite tough to kill, because the pilot knows they need to survive as long as possible. And since we have more than one way to light a cyno, the other being deployable ones, here is what happens when you have a deployable one. Let it deploy fully and then shoot it. As you can see, the moment it blows up, the field once more disappears. This is of course because the deployable was the thing that kept the field active, so when the support gets destroyed, the field collapses.
And now for something completely different.
I heard the argument between miners so many times. What is better for you to avoid ganks? Orbiting a rock, container, or whatever else? Or standing still? None of the sides wants to listen to each other, and the argument continues and probably will continue forever. Today, I want to add my 2 cents to it and show you some examples, so maybe some of you will realize why I might be siding with the people I side with. Some people say that with orbiting around rocks, they will not be an easy target to be caught and shot, since a potential ganker will need to burn to them and they will have time to align out and warp off. However, what they don't realize is that their align time might be completely screwed up by the same orbit that they think is saving them, and some gankers don't use catalysts with short blaster range, but rather go for coercers, since most people tank for the thermal and kinetic damage type, leaving the EM shield hole unchecked. Moreover, pulse lasers got some decent range compared to blasters. On the other hand, we have players that state that sitting in space is the best option because you simply align as long as the game tells you, and aligning to a spot, then stopping your ship does not help. I checked that in a previous video already, it will pop on the screen now. So the only thing that is keeping you alive in case of a ganker entering system is you simply not sleeping behind your desk and hitting warp on the first sign of trouble. Let's see the test I conducted several times. You will of course see one of the attempts, but the results were pretty much the same. I got 2 Machinos in a fleet. Same exact stupidly long align time, because last time I was testing anything related to align times, people were complaining that the ships I used were too nimble and the difference in align times was not big enough. And then I hit warp to a random point in system. We see the align bar on the orbiting ship turn and twist, start loading, and before it can get close to its warp, the other Machino that was sitting still is gone. If you are orbiting 90% of the time, this will end up hurting your align time, unless you left a whole dome of bookmarks around the belt you're mining. That is because the orbit you hit around the rock is random, so you cannot guarantee that you will have something to align to. Then if you see gankers in the system, you have to look for what's the closest spot to your current flight vector and then hit warp. There might be that 10% chance you will actually be aligned and at speed towards something, but that's really small chance to decrease your align time compared to just sitting still and deterring ganks by having enough tank to not make it worth their time, which is another video I did in the past. Check it out. And that is all the myths I have for you today. As always, if you can think of some mechanics to test, let me know in the comments under this video, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, share it with a corp mate that might need it, leave a like and subscribe to see my future uploads. If you are interested in what I will talk about next, my videos go up every Sunday. And if we never see each other in space again, Capsulia, fly safe.